India is the largest democracy in the world, whereas the United States of America is the oldest democracy. Although both countries are democratic republics, there are some differences in the way both governments function.
Hi, this is Group 8. We will provide you with the fruitful information on government systems from two different countries, which are India and the US. Well, let's find out and please stay with us.
Okay, so first we will talk about the compare and contrast party government between India and the US with a different type of party system. So first we will start with the compare or the similarity between India and the US. So as we know that India and the US are both democratic states with democratic party systems. What about the contrast or the difference between India and the US? There are 5 main areas that divide India and the US apart. So first is party systems, the second one is political party, third voting system, and fourth is voter turnout, and the last one is election votes. Okay, so let's start with the party system. So in India, it is multi-party system. There are 2 major political parties, INC and BJP, and also small and regional political parties. While in the US, it is 2-party or bi-party system. There are 2 major political parties, including the Republican and Democratic Party. For political party, the Libertarian Party, Green Party, and other smaller parties exist. They are considered to be independent entities as they are outliers and are incapable of competing with the 2 major ones. While in the US, political parties, there are multiple parties that operate on the state level and only a few that successfully operate at the national level. For voting system, the Election Commission of India has opened up to the possibility of e-ballots, allowing voting through electronic voting machines, EVMs, for overseas elections, while in the US, its voting system is quite flexible and advanced. There are multiple methods being approved to let you cast your vote. There are polling booths, early vote, and as well as mail in the US. For voter turnout, there is 66.38% in the India, which a lot of people participate in voting, higher turnouts and registration than the US. So while the US, voter turnout is only 61.4%, which is the voter pool in the USA mainly consists of people above the age of 65. They vote 25% more than their younger generation does. The last but not least is election boards. In India, it has the Election Commission of India, which we know as ECI, who deals with setting up elections, counting votes, setting up financial regulations, enlisting the service of police of domestic military forces to keep the voting process as incident-free as possible. While in the US, it has 2 federal bodies called the Federal Election Commissions and US Election Assistance Commission, EAC. What has worked well for India is a fully empowered but fiercely independent and neutral election commission. Okay, so let's move to the second question, which is what kind of political parties and party systems are ideal in order to make democracy work? So in India, the ideal political party is BJP as their successes are attributed to a muscular foreign policy and national security posture. It is generally more pro-business than most of India's political parties, which tend to be left of center. They are also a huge advocate for the Hindutva, an ideology that sought to define Indian culture in terms of Hindu values. They also have helped to develop the rural area as they have constructed more roads and toilets to the less developed areas and have helped their country to become more digitized and give their citizens surplus electricity compared to the Congress Party. In regards to the party system, we do believe that the two-party system is ideal in order to make democracy work. Even though there are a lot of political parties in India, only two that are the popular ones among the Indian citizens. It is also ideal because they are simpler to govern with less fractiousness and greater harmony, since it discourages radical minor parties, while multi-party systems can sometimes lead to hung parliaments. The two-party system is also said to promote governmental stability because a single party can win a majority in the parliament and government. Supporters of the two-party system state that dividing the country into two parties most easily allows for a clear majority to win. India, with a multi-party system, has had years of divisive politics and many instabilities. If we compare to the US, the American parties have a more flexible and decentralized structure, marked by the absence of discipline and rigid hierarchy, whereas for India, there tend to be a lot of tensions mixed with a lot of different ideologies between parties during the election process. Okay, so let's move to the third question, which is what caused deficiencies in political parties and the party system in India and the US. So first, the president of India is directly elected. Unlike the US, the president is directly elected. The direct voting head of the government gives advantage of government stability. Contrast to India, the head of government is not directly voted. Thus, the power of India head of government is overpowered by the coalition politics. Second, the Indian president holds no executive power and has a role as the head of state, while the US president is both the head of state and the head of government. This means that Indian presidents only perform symbolic roles. Third, term of office. The India election is held every 5 years, and the president and the candidate are eligible to re-elected as many times as possible. On the other hand, the US president gets 4 years terms and 6 re-election only once. So this is all of the 3 deficiencies of India party system. Okay, so let's move to the last question, which is suggest future directions of party government between India and the US. In terms of future directions, for India as a highly corrupted nation, should consider a rightful candidate, the one with views and ideologies that is beneficial for all citizens instead of benefiting just the rich. They should not continue with their multi-party system as it has caused political instability in their country. Instead, They can option for the two-party system as there are only two most popular political parties, which is INC and BJP. For the US, they should also be careful in selecting their rightful candidate for their election as well. With careful election and as well as selection, their politics and government could turn into a turmoil as seen on Trump's administration. Trump's administration has ruined the US government with his weak leadership skills and controversial behavior. However, they should still stick to the two-party system and only electing two candidates during the election every single time in order to cause less instability. So this is the end of our video, and thank you so much for your paying attention, and please feel free to interrupt us if you have any question. Thank you. See you later.